people. I'm here with my longtime friend, Hilary Madsen. I don't see her in a long time, but now I am so proud because I have to call her Your Honor. She's a judge now in Seattle, Washington. My dear friend, be very welcome to this channel.
Thank you.
Could you tell everybody how we met and why we met?
Yeah, so many years ago, just 16 years old, I went to Brazil. I was an exchange student with the Rotary International Program, and I was living in Palmital. Rodrigo, you were teaching English already, and so I became your very good friend. You became my very good friend. Because we would spend time together in the classroom, having conversations in English. You were helping me because you would ask me questions in English and then I would answer in Portuguese, which really helped because then you could tell if I understood the question in Portuguese or because you'd be asking me in English and I'd be answering in Portuguese. And so you were helping me to learn Portuguese. And so that was many years ago. That was in 2000. And I really, really loved the experience. We were such good friends and I made so many friends in Palmital. And so now I have what I consider family in Brazil. And so I am able to travel to Brazil. Every couple of years, I think I'm able to travel to Brazil. Sometimes I go to Palmital, although it's been a long time since I've been in Palmital. Sao Paulo and Rio and Fortaleza. Now that I have children, my husband and I like to travel to Fortaleza because we like to go to Beach Park. And so we like to stay at the beach park and take the, the lazy river from the hotel and into the park. And the kids have a lot of fun. So that's what we're doing now.
I know what you're talking about because as everybody knows on the channel, I have two boys, so one is 12 and the other one is almost 4. How was your journey to become who you are today as a judge?
I'm a judge for everyone. So the way that judges, people become judges in the United States is different than in Brazil. So in the United States, you complete university, and then after you graduate from university, you go to law school. So university takes about 4 years for a degree, and then you have a separate degree in law, and the law degree takes usually about 3 years. And then you're able to practice law. In my state, in the state of Washington, anyone who is a lawyer for at least 5 years can run for election. We elect our judges. It's not a merit-based system. It's not a system where you take it like in Brazil, where you take a test. Here, it's an election. And where I live in Seattle, it's in King County. So we're in the state of Washington in a county called King County. And then I live in a city, Seattle. But the entire county votes on its judges. We have 53 judges. Every 4 years, we run for election, and there are about 2.1 million people who are eligible to vote in King County. So I have been a lawyer now, I think for about 12 years, I've been a lawyer. And so I made the decision to run for election. So I had a campaign manager, we had lawn signs, I did interviews with newspapers, I sent out information to voters. And so I was able to win my election. There was another running, so it was competitive. And the voters picked me, and I think it was about almost 600,000 people. And so
wow.
I was elected. And then in oath of office, I have swear to God that I would uphold the Constitution of the United States and to apply the laws fairly and equally to everyone. And now I sit in our Superior Court. And so the kinds of cases that come to the Superior Court are very serious crimes, so felonies. So this is like murder cases or cases usually involving extreme violence.
Mm-hmm.
These are cases involving children in foster care. So in the state of Washington, when parents take care of their children, they come into our foster care system. And so these are decisions that are being made in foster care, any decisions in family law. So we have divorce, child custody, and then any decisions being made around wills, so trusts and estates when people die, how their property is distributed.
Yeah.
We also have civil cases. So because we're at the Superior Court, we take cases that are very valuable. So when there's more, for example, $1 million at stake because someone was catastrophically injured, or they have a constitutional question, civil rights question. So we take very big civil cases. And then we're also able, so in Washington, when someone is mentally, is experiencing a mental health crisis and a decision has been made, they need to be forcibly medicated, or they need to be committed into an institution and they don't want to go. So they be committed to their will. A judge has to make a decision whether it's appropriate, whether or not it's okay for that person to be committed. So those are the cases that we decide as judges in the county. And right now, because we have 53 judges and there's well over 2 million people who live in King County, we have each of our judges sort of do 2 years with each type of law. So we're rotating. And so right now, my rotation is with family law. So right now, for the next 2 years, I'll be making decisions about child custody, basically, every day.
I see. I got you. How is it to balance everything, being a mom, being married, and being a judge?
So I think it's really challenging to do that balancing because being a judge requires a lot of reading. It requires a lot of preparing, a lot of research. The cases are really hard, especially with working in the area of family law right now. The cases are all pretty emotional. And so I think there's some toll. It's pretty heavy to do that. And it means that I spend a lot of time away from my family because I'm gone, 10 hours a day. I'm in the courthouse. I think that's hard. I think, on the other hand, the thing about having children, and my children are so young, right? Because my Levi, who I think you've met, Rodrigo, so Levi's 6, and then the girls, my twins, are 3. And so one thing that's nice when I come home from really pretty hard days, I come home and the children are just like, Mom, I need this. Mom, I need that. Mom, pay attention to this. And so when I walk in the house, like, I'm not a judge anymore. It's over, right?
Yeah.
Because my children won't accept anything less. And so I think in some ways I'm a more balanced person, even though it is hard to find that division of time, right? But in some ways I'm more balanced because I have to put everything away at the end of the day. I can't brood or be reliving my day in my head because I have children in front of me who are like, look at my picture, or find my sock. And so it's really, I think in that way, having young children is helpful to have balance.
And I believe that Rob plays a very important role for you as well, being a dad and helping, because I know that he has this job and he's swamped with work, but he might help you a lot, right?
I think that's very true. I think Rob's favorite joke is that he's a Corinthians fan, because when you say Corinthians, you have to smile. And so that's why the Corinthians are his favorite teams. Rob has been to Brazil many times. I think that having a partner in life who supports you is incredibly important. And I wouldn't be able to do the work that I do. I wouldn't be able to be the mom that I am without Rob pitching in and helping. He's been active. So he's responsible for a lot of our childcare. He's responsible for a lot of the decisions that have to be made at the house and getting things done. Just the 10 and things that children need every single day, Rob is right there. So I think having a partner who supports your dreams and is helping you to accomplish them is really important. And that's what I have in Rob.
Wow, that's amazing to know, because I know that I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, he still works at Microsoft, right?
He left Microsoft. So now he's working at Oracle. So he's at another very large tech company. And he has a job that's also very demanding, especially right now, because so much of our technology, we're really testing the outer bounds of our infrastructure. And that's what he works. He's been working 24 hours a day, probably since the pandemic started.
Wow.
A year and a half ago, right? So he's been, he works really hard. So
I believe so.
And then I think just because we have, we both work full time, we have help at home because we have a babysitter who helps us with the kids because they're so little.
Yeah.
Because, my son, he can't go to school, right? Because all of the schools are closed down right now.
Well, I can tell you that things are crazy in Brazil as well concerning the virus. Palmital is in lockdown. We are dealing with the children at home. Junior is studying remotely. João Otávio is not going to school because he's too young. But before we finish, I would like to ask you something. From all of your journey since we met, what is the memory that you like to remember from Palmital up to the judge?
So obviously the birth of my children is the most important moment, and my wedding, right? But I think Palmital has such a piece of my heart. I think, the red earth is the first thing I think of, right? The red color of the dirt. And I think about when, I don't think it happens anymore, right? But when the cutting of the cane, sugar cane would be cut and the fields would be set on fire, right?
Yeah.
And the smell.
Yeah. It was very strong.
And when the smell of really alcohol hand sanitizer, right?
Yeah.
Something else that I associate with Palmital because of the way that the hand sanitizer is in Palmital, like with a strong alcohol. So there are certain things that I think of, smells, or I have some visuals. I was obsessed with ice cream in Palmital. And so I remember that, eating a lot of ice cream in Palmital and making pamonha.
My mom remembers cooking with you because you would come home and she would teach you recipes. And she remembers when I told her, Mom, Hillary's a judge now. She said, my God, I used to cook with her. The little girl's a judge now. I said, yeah, I'm so proud as well. And I remember that fondly,
Yeah. I love Brazilian food, the arroz doce.
Yeah.
And of course, all the sugar things.
Yeah.
And then brigadeiro. And pamonha is another favorite of mine. So yeah, I really love Brazilian food.
My audience is teenagers, people who are second language learners. What would be the advice that you would give them to keep studying English, and why?
I think one of the most important things about language is that language is the words that we use teach us a lot about a culture and about history. And so someone wants to understand the United States, for example, to understand our language really helps to understand who we are as a people. The way we say things, how we say things, where we put our emphasis in words, what words we use a lot, the colloquialisms, those are really helpful, I think, in understanding the United States and in understanding other countries that speak English. There are words in Portuguese that someone could meet someone from Brazil or someone could study something from Brazil, but if you don't understand Portuguese, you don't always have that opportunity to be Brazilian, right? Because certain words or ways of speaking in Portuguese that are unique to Brazil and help give you insight into the culture. And so one of my favorite things in Portuguese is the word saudades, right? To have saudades. This is a word that is very complicated to translate into English. But if you can understand saudades, that gives you some insights into Brazilian culture, right? The first time I saw a despedida, right? The first time that I saw like a goodbye party in Brazil, it was amazing. I mean, people were sobbing, right? They were grabbing each other, like the emotion. And that's part of the language, right? To understand saudades, to understand there's certain words or phrases, you know, like Nossa Senhora is slang. When you understand Portuguese, you do understand a little bit more about what it means to be Brazilian.
And when we hug people, because it's something from Brazilians, so when you try to explain, it's something cultural. So I agree with you. But those are the questions that I had for you. Now we're going to play the game that everybody loves, which is the rapid round. But don't go easy on me, all right? So the first one, my family is
amazing.
My children are
energetic.
My husband is
a sweetheart.
Being a judge for me is
hard.
Being an exchange student in Brazil was
the opportunity of a lifetime.
Thank you. Now it's your turn.
Okay. All right. My favorite thing to do at the end of the day is
watch television.
My favorite Madonna song is
Like a Prayer.
I'm afraid of
not having friends.
I love being a teacher because
I learn from my students.
My place in the United States.
New York.
My favorite thing about my wife is
she's a soul dear. She's my better half. She helps me with everything that I need. And she gave me my two beautiful boys.
And she's lovely.
She is. Just to wrap it up, I have always a sentence, a quote for all the guests. And for you, it's not a sentence or a quote. It's a kind of a thank you note. I met you some 22 years ago. We clicked as friends since then. We don't talk much. I know that we are hours and hours away. I always remember fondly the great friend that you were, the person that you were, the mother that you are, because I used to teach you Portuguese and you used to help me with English. And I never forget how I was a teacher already at that time, but I remember you very fondly. And I'm sorry for not being more present, but my life is crazy as well. To say now that I'm proud of you because you're a judge. I've always been proud of being your friend. I knew Hillary at 16, and I know Hillary now, and I'm so proud who you have become. I know that you have a hectic life. I feel really, really humble because you're here with me doing this to your Brazilian friend with such a small channel on YouTube. I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much.
I've always been proud to be your friend too, Rodrigo.
Thank you so much.
You are a remarkable and a special person.
Thank you so much.
And you were my friend. I didn't have any friends.
Thank you very much. But I'll never stop being down to earth. I am really, really happy to be your friend. Thank you, Your Honor. It was an honor to have you here. See you next time.